It's too late to start. I'm not good enough. There's just too much to do, and I have absolutely no idea where to begin. I know what I want, but I just don't know how to get there. Something is wrong, but I just can't pinpoint what it is. Does that all sound familiar? Are these the recurring thoughts you've been struggling with for the past few days, months, or maybe years? Where you know what you want, but you just aren't sure where to start or how to get there. Or maybe you don't know what you want, but you do know you are not satisfied with the status quo and you need change. Maybe you feel like it's already too late or you aren't good enough. Or maybe you did start and it became too difficult, so you put it on pause until motivation struck again, but it never did, and you never found the motivation to continue. Well, trust me when I say you're not alone. I have been there, and sometimes I still find myself there. The truth is that this is how most people live their lives. They live in fear of striving for what they want. They are hesitant to pursue their aspirations due to their fear of failure, and even when they start their journey, they give up as soon as things start getting difficult. Now the question is, how do you break free from this frozen state of caution and self-doubt to start your journey, persevere, and continue on the paths that will inevitably lead you to where you want to be? Luckily, we have the answer today. The Obstacle is the Way, by Ryan Holiday, utilizes a Stoic approach to free you from this frozen state and gives you guidelines as to how you can pursue the path that will lead you to your goals. Here you need to remember that our goals may be similar, but our paths are unique, and you will need to face various obstacles when trying to achieve what you want. This is what makes life challenging. This path will lead you to what you seek and will be filled with hardships, but you must not let this stop you. This book goes over 3 core principles that will help you tackle these obstacles that you may face when trying to achieve your goals. In this video, I will be going over these 3 core principles: perception, action, and will. I will do a detailed breakdown of the subsequent concepts of these core principles in order to equip you with the exact tools you need to start facing your obstacles head-on. Now, you need to remember that an online summary is never the same as reading or listening to a book, and each and every one of you will resonate with something different, which will help you in your journey. The Obstacle is the Way is a phenomenal book that deserves a seat in your library. So I highly recommend that you carefully watch this video till the end to grasp the basic principles of the book, and then also go on to reading this book so that you can understand the essence of this incredible piece of writing. Let's get started. Preface. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Marcus Aurelius. Core Principle 1. Perception. Ryan Holiday begins this book by showing us our first line of defense against the obstacles that we face in our lives: our perception. Perception is the first step to being able to tackle the problems that await us. This concept will be your foundation. It doesn't matter what is happening in your life. All that matters is how you see it. It is up to you to decipher a particular event or set of events and break them into learnable components. Where one sees disaster, another sees opportunity, or as is more commonly known, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Here's the first concept you need to grasp. Your perspective must always be opportunistic. We all know the world is full of endless obstacles, and no matter how positive you think you have to be, you simply don't remain positive all the time. It's not about being positive, it is about being relentlessly opportunistic. Instead of thinking, "This is bad," think, "How can I make this work for me?" Too often we react emotionally when things don't go our way, which leads to giving up. The root of this lies in our fear of failure, or how nature has wired us: fear of death. We humans have evolved for millions of years under the condition of fight or flight. Every day we are alive, our brain is keeping us from dying. Unfortunately, our brain treats talking to your crush and having an important deadline at work the same. We must combat these emotions by taking a step back, viewing the issue at hand from different angles, stripping down what is truly in front of us, and finding an opportunity to better ourselves. Don't be a slave of impulse, and take a second to understand why you feel that way. Ryan Holiday. Of course, it is easier for your mind to think something is bad, accept it, and then go on autopilot. On the other hand, when you ask the question, How I can make this better. Your mind immediately gets to work. Thinking hard and finding solutions is difficult, and that is exactly why most people take the easy route of accepting a bad situation and not doing anything about it. Make sure to recognize the power your perception has. We have to remember that we decide what we make of every situation, whether we break and give up or resist and prosper. Will you ascend or descend? Regardless, you can choose your reaction. You may not have a choice on where you started. You may also land into a situation you couldn't control. But you can certainly decide how you are going to deal with the situation and what steps you are going to take to continue. Most of the time, we look at something basic and think it's all over. Instead, try calming yourself and changing your perspective. If you mess up, look at it as a way to learn and grow. You basically found a problem that you didn't know you had. Remember, you don't know what you don't know, so make sure you learn from your mistakes. You choose your reaction. Don't let your emotions win. Now here's the second concept you need to grasp: steadying your emotions. Can a man be brave if he is afraid? This is the only time a man can be brave. Eddard Stark. Steadying your nerves helps you control your perspective. The mindset here is not to be completely emotionless. If you're sad, be sad. If you want to cry, then cry. That second you need, take it. But don't turn the car around when the going gets tough. You are a human being, not a robot, and you will always have emotions. However, it is in your control not to be overwhelmed by those emotions and calm them. When you are battling for what you want, steadying your emotions is realizing how you feel, but making sure you are continuing the path you set out for yourself. Don't give up because of fear, anger, sadness, or frustration. Instead, use them as a reminder that you are going the right way. Steadying your emotions will help you objectify your obstacles and help you break down the raw information. Make sure to always take a second and rethink the scenario. Objectifying your problem will reveal what you can control and what you cannot control. Now focus on the things you can change. Focus on your objectivity to be able to separate the things you can change from the things you cannot change. You should only care about the things you can control. What you can't control should be left alone. Understand it and move on. Take what you can control, adapt, and continue pushing. To help you with this, think of yourself in the third person, just like you're able to give your friend that obvious objective advice that they can't see. Treat yourself the same way. If you are scared, your perspective can be to run away or stand and fight. Remember, courage is the mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. Mark Twain. Emotions play a big role in our decisions, so listen to that section again and again as it will help you a lot. To wrap up the first core principle of perspective, Ryan Holiday explains it perfectly. Make sure to live in the moment and think differently to find opportunities. The good thing about opportunity is that it's like a bus. There's always another one. So put your head down and work. Fall in love with that path you are on, and you will hit your goals regardless of the obstacles. Holiday puts a lot of emphasis on shifting your perspective to living in the moment. Even though planning and dreaming help guide and motivate you, doing the actual work is what is going to get you to your dreams and goals. Stop diving into the meaning of everything, where other people are, and whether it's fair or not. Stop wasting your energy on these useless thoughts. Use that energy to look at different angles. Think of a different way to approach that obstacle in front of you. See the world for what it is, and look at every angle possible. Life is annoying, and it will get tough. Your emotions will be tested, but stick to it. Socrates said, his annoying, mean wife was perfect to practice philosophy. Your foundation begins with your perspective. Look at obstacles from different angles, objectify them with steady emotions, and learn what needs to be done next. With this, you will be able to walk your path and take action. Core Principle 2. Action. Action for action is not useful. It must be directed action. And always remember, action is about persistence, not brute force. Ryan Holiday. Action may be the hardest part of your journey. I know it was for me. Knowing I need to do something but not knowing what to do or if it's the right thing to do is something that everyone faces when beginning their journey, especially when you take into account that everyone has a different starting point. Holiday explains, in life, It doesn't matter where you start, what happened to you before now, or what your starting conditions are. It only matters what your next actions are. If something bad happens, take that time you need to cry, be frustrated, vent, just don't dwell on it and move on. No one will come and solve all your problems for you, so get up and start taking action. Think about that one person we all know whose life is somehow always in shambles, but who never does anything to better their situation. Sometimes you listen to their problems and think about how easy it is to solve whatever it is they have, and yet they still don't do it. Look at yourself with those eyes and take whatever action you need to progress on that path. Wear out or rust out. Theodore Roosevelt. With action comes failure. It's an absolute truth. Action cannot exist without failure. And for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So the harder you try, the harder you fall. Swallow that pill now, you'll thank me later. But failure is a good thing. Failing is actually the universe telling you that you can get better. It's letting you know that you forgot something. It lets you know there's an easier way. It's letting you know you need to try again. With the right perspective, you can always learn from failure to better yourself and your situation. This will lead to actionable steps to continue progressing on your path. Success is not the epiphany that started your path, but your persistence and observations that exposed your path. Once you attack an obstacle, quitting is not an option. Finding an alternative route is okay, but outright stopping must be purged. For example, if you want to become wealthy, maybe you start by trying stocks, real estate, or flipping shoes. Regardless, your goals are the same, your path is just different. Tell your obstacles that resistance is futile. Borg. One thing you must know about action is to set your goal and forget it. Put the rest of your efforts into the system that will get you there, and that system will build your path. Stop thinking about being a millionaire and begin investing your money. Stop thinking about losing weight and focus on getting yourself to the gym. Thinking about your goal isn't going to bring it any closer. Taking action will. Your system, your path, and your process are about doing the right thing and doing it right now. If it turns out to be wrong, observe, objectify, adapt, and try again. Stop thinking of the perfect plan and just start doing it. Get up and start taking action. Whether it's right or wrong, adjust as you go, and you'll see you are better off than being stuck on analysis paralysis. Now let us talk about doing your job well. Sometimes our first job introduces us to the broom, Andrew Carnegie. To start, there is no shame in being in the position you are in right now, regardless of the job, social status, salary, or whatever else you can think of. What you don't want to do is think how undeserving or unfair it is that you are in the position you are in. Instead of thinking that your company doesn't appreciate you, or that you just want to cash your paycheck and go home, start putting passion into your work. The more passion you put into your work, the more pride you'll have. The more pride you have, the more you'll be willing to adapt and learn. The more you adapt and learn, the more exposure you have to new things you didn't know. Don't think about your paycheck on Friday. Instead, think about the task at hand. Everything is a learning opportunity, but you will never learn if you don't work with the intention of delivering a great product. You aren't better than the position you are in. Take pride in your position and take action with enthusiasm, and you will see the change you've always wanted to see. The best part about enthusiasm is that it comes with a dynamic perspective, so nurture that positive feedback loop. When you run into problems with something you are enthusiastic about, you tend to find alternate options that will work the same, if not better. Apply this to everything you do. Think progress, not perfection. Ryan Holiday. Unfortunately, you will run into things that seem unsolvable, especially when starting at a disadvantage. Make sure you stay creative and don't always use force versus force. The opposing side will usually win. Instead of pushing, pull until it loses balance. Keep your options open and be patient. Instead of spinning your tires in a muddy pit, wait for the mud to freeze over and drive off. Stay creative and channel all unwanted emotional energy into persistence. Don't give in to adversity. Do not trust prosperity, and always take full note of fortune's habit of behaving as she pleases. Marcus Aurelius. No matter how patient you are, how persistent you stay, or how many angles you approach the problem from, sometimes it isn't enough. And that's okay, as long as you keep going. Action will be the core that sits on your foundation, and your relentless, opportunistic mindset will be the head, ready to pierce through any obstacle. And the glue that holds it all together will be your unquantifiable will. Core Principle 3. Will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Perhaps tomorrow, if not today. Michelle Jenner. What is will? Will is our internal power that no amount of external force can remove. Will is not the power that allows us to continue, but the power that allows us to persist when all else fails. It's the power to not surrender when we have nothing left. Holiday goes on to explain how the worst thing possible will happen, and it will try to stop you, but you cannot let it stop you. It may take a bit to get back up after it knocks you down, but you need to get back up. The key to preparing yourself for this is pre-mortem. A post-mortem is an analysis of what caused the death of a person. A pre-mortem is the exact opposite. What will cause the death of your actions? How do I avoid them? And if it is inevitable, how do I ensure I can persist? Don't assume you won't fail. Instead, think about the actions you will take when you do fail. Harness those negative thoughts and use them to create a plan to get you back on your path. Ask yourself, what if? Never forget to hope for the best, but expect the worst. It gets worse before it gets better. No matter how much you think you deserve something, life will not simply hand it over. Unfortunately, life will take things away from you without your consent, and you must practice acquiescence. Acquiescence is the reluctant acceptance of something without protest. Reality sucks sometimes, and you need to have the power to accept it and move on. Come to terms with what happened and continue where you last left off. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. John Lennon. When you fail, simply think of it as a new situation that you have landed in and start taking a new set of actions that will result in better outcomes. This time, you will be better equipped to succeed thanks to the previous experience and learning you gained as a result of your failure. However, there's no guarantee that you will win this time. You may fail again, and it may beat you down to the ground, leave you broke, hurt, and feeling defeated. But it's your job to get over these emotions and start again. That's willpower. Again, it's not about being emotionless. Cry, scream, vent, feel whatever you need to feel, but be ready to keep it pushing. The world will not stop for you, so don't let the world stop you. This mental switch will allow you to love everything that happens because you can change your perspective and see the positives and opportunities that a certain scenario has brought you. When you walk your path as an unstoppable force, you begin to love the path and your goal will become an inevitability. Now, that was a lot to take in, but there's one final step, the unspoken rule. After all is said and done, be ready to start all over. Behind one mountain are more mountains. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep going and keep beating life. I hope this summary of Ryan Holiday's "The Obstacle is the Way" will help you develop the right perception about the happenings in your life, and you will be able to take the necessary actions with perseverance and willpower to achieve your dreams and live a great life. Before I go, I will leave you with these words. Life never gets easier. We humans just get better at dealing with harder problems. If you've stayed to the end, I greatly appreciate your time, and please let me know your thoughts below on what resonated with you and what you didn't like and why. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you can continue watching this type of content. Thank you for watching and see you next time.